Coming to you from an undisclosed location, somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Welcome to another episode of Questions with L.A. Okay, folks, before I get into this, if you've got questions, you can email me questions at Marzulli.net, questions at Marzulli.net. And before we get into that, first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Hey folks, L.A. Marzulli here. Have you ever wondered what happened to a legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. Folks, he's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. Let me stop you there. So, and I've told this story before, but I have to say it again. So after the fire, 2018, there was a YMCA and I joined that, and they had two very large trailers filled with gym equipment. So I went in on a Sunday morning and I'm working out. There's another guy in there with me. He's a little older than I am, and there's a circuit. So we're going around all these different weights, and I get, he's ahead of me, so I'm coming in after he's already worked out on that particular machine. And this one where you sit in a chair like this and you're pressing down on the weight, going, my gosh, who is this guy? It was like unbelievable. And he's got like a script in his hand. So he's walking around with a script, and I kind of go, good luck on the script. I hope you get the part. He goes, he just kind of laughs and chuckles. And so I keep following this guy around. He's like super strong. I mean, and he's older than I am. But I don't, whatever. So it gets to the point where I'm getting ready to leave, and he's still looking at his script. And I've done my workout, but he's still working out. And I go, good luck on the part. Hope you get it. He just kind of nods his head and laughs. And I walk out in the parking lot, and I get to the car, and all of a sudden it dawns on me, oh my gosh, that was Chuck Norris. So when I read this to you, when I talk about this, he's in his 80s and still, it's true. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was in the same gym on the same machines. He was lifting 30, 40 pounds more than I could, which is unbelievable. Okay, let's continue. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer. I just attested to that. And has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day long. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it, folks, by going to chuckdefense.com/LA. It's right up there on the screen, folks. chuckdefense.com/LA, or by clicking the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/LA, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video. Now, you won't believe how simple this really is. Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old and yet has more energy than I do. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply focusing on three things that sabotage our body as we age. Folks, check it out, chuckdefense.com/LA. That's www.chuckdefense.com/LA. So the fire happened in 2018, that's 6 years ago, and I was at the gym probably 2019, so he's like 79 then, and back off some age on me, I'm like 70, so he's 9 years older than I am. Just blew me away. Not making this stuff up, folks. I do morning kick every single day. What I have noticed, I've been doing it for a couple of months now, what I have noticed is I do have more energy, and I'm a little, I don't want to hype this, but I feel more centered than usual, and that's because after a cup of coffee, I'm like, all the characters come out, but I digress. So anyway, folks, go to chuckdefense.com/LA. One more time, chuckdefense.com/LA. And this was sent in to me by a fan of the show, and basically they're talking about Gaia TV. Now, we're not going to sit here and completely bag on Gaia TV. I've appeared on that station twice, I believe, both of those with, of course, George Norrie. The problem is, this is what they say, Gaia offers the largest online resource of consciousness expanding videos. Over 8,000 informative and enlightening films, original shows, yoga and meditation classes, and more that you won't find anywhere else. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road. I was deep into Eastern mysticism. I was completely immersed in the New Age. Meditation and yoga, in my opinion, releases the Kundalini serpent spirit. What we're also seeing in a lot of so-called Christian circles specifically in the charismatic movement, we see the Kundalini serpent spirit at work, or we see a familiar spirit attached to that man or woman giving them information. I've been in both. I've seen the Holy Spirit move with words of knowledge, gifts of healing. I believe in the gifts. On the other hand, the Kundalini serpent definitely has crept into the church at large. You can't have, there is no such thing, and I know I'm going to get feedback on this, there is no such thing as Christian yoga. The two are mutually exclusive from one another. You can't be practicing yoga and claim to be a Christian. Yoga, no matter how innocent it seems with the stretching and all that stuff, and I get that, what it does is it opens up the Kundalini serpent spirit. That's what the whole thing is about. Look, I was immersed in the New Age. I was with a guru for 3 years. I know of what I speak. So the problem I have with Gaia is everything goes but Christianity. Christianity is the only, actually, the Judeo-Christian worldview is the only worldview that deals with sin. And Judaism, unfortunately, stops with the Mosaic law. They're still under that. Christianity believes, as we do, as I do, that Jesus paid the price on the cross for all humanity. Think about that. Your sins are forgiven. My sins are forgiven. The things that I have done, which, you know, we all do them, folks. We all do them. You have hate in your heart. People lie. People cheat. They steal. All sorts of crazy stuff, right? Just look at the 5 o'clock news. That's the sin nature. And something happens way back in the garden when Adam and Eve side with the dragon. They are terrified. They are hiding from the Lord. Why would you hide from the Lord? Why would you do that? You're terrified. And of course, that's where Genesis 3:15 comes from and the whole seed war, but I digress. Here's the deal. Christianity is the only theological resource. Christianity is the only paradigm in which a man or woman's sins can be forgiven. Having been immersed in the New Age for more than a decade and finally leaving it and becoming a Christian after I became agnostic for about 2 or 3 years, I can tell you this, that you can meditate till the cows come home. It will never change who you are inside. It won't. It can't do that. It'll never change the sin nature. There's only one God-man that can forgive and change the sin nature, and that's Jesus. And I realize I'm getting kind of in your face today about this. Normally I'm not this intense about it. But I will say this, it is the only way. He is the truth, the life, and the way. No one comes to the Father but by him. I realize that sounds incredibly narrow-minded, and I get that, all the pushback from people and everything else. But the bottom line is it's true. I've been on both sides of the aisle. I enjoy a very unique perspective. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on. Supposed UFO crash in Las Vegas. Yes, we know about this. We talked about this on other shows. I do believe, and this is like a year old, over a year old. So I do believe that what happened in the kid's backyard is real. Since then, they have gone into the video. Experts have looked at the video and come on the record and stating that there are entities, there are beings. Gary Stearman came up with something which I found incredibly illuminating, if I can use that word, and it was this, that maybe they jumped the gun. They shouldn't have been there, but they were there anyway. Something happened there, folks. There's no doubt. The kid's not lying, in my opinion. This is from Tony. Hey, LA, love what you do. Awesome ministry and calling. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate the kind words. I've been watching some of the recent UFO, UAP media stories, and the question popped up in my head, why did these craft have lights? Aircraft have lights mostly for outward identification, air traffic control, legal reasons, etc., but not necessarily to see where they are going. I'm guessing a real UFO on a reconnaissance mission would not have lights shining about. So whoever they are must want to be seen. I'm sure this is not a new thought for you, but it's the first time I've ever thought about it. That's from Tony. Thanks so much for the post. It's a really good question. And just so you know, when they appear, it's all over the map. Sometimes if it's a triangular shape, there's a light on each corner, as it were. Other times there's no lights. Other times, for instance, in the Krumbregaz UFO, we see that like spherical under here. It's all lit up underneath. It's just all over the map. Tony, I have no explanation. I don't understand it. You know, these are there's certain parts of the UFO phenomena which we look at and we sit there and we scratch our heads. And with that, I'm scratching my head. I get it. But on the other hand, sometimes UFOs appear and they're just completely cloaked out. For instance, the one that we showed last week with Wayne, that disc that comes across the road like this. Now it's dull, it's not silver, but it comes this way. It's not this way. It's standing up like that, and it comes across the screen. You can go back into our YouTube channel and watch that last week. No lights there. However, and we blew this up, there are 4 craft. So as this guy comes across the road, 4 craft are streaking towards it, and they're all lit up. They're just bright white lights. Look, nobody's got all the answers. I don't either, which is why it literally is very enigmatic and mysterious at the same time. This is from Roger. LA, I wanted to share this video with you of an alien craft with 8 to 10 foot beings. This goes back into the Las Vegas deal. We understand that. We've already addressed that. I'm not going to belabor the point. This is from Lacey. Hey, LA, I appreciate your work. The Lord brought you into my life during a time of great revelation. I am beyond grateful for your work. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. All glory goes to the King. Absolutely. All day long, all glory goes to him. I did not sign up for this. He placed me in this position over a period of years. Basically 30 years ago, he began to move me out of the music ministry into what I do today. So glory to the King. After a year plus of past demonic harassment with otherworldly aspects and missing time I cannot account for, I began a biblical quest to understand the things I had experienced. I had a nervous breakdown as a result of the harassment and desperately wanted to understand what had happened because in my experience, history can repeat itself and often does. In a nutshell, through my journey for truth and understanding, I have learned many things, which have caused me to arrive at one question. Is the craft for attention alone? To call attention to something mysterious so it opens the doorway for deception? Or are they functional and necessary because they are dimensional barriers between us and them? Your response is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Be blessed. Lacey, I'm sorry you had that type of harassment. You're not the first person. You're not alone. Just so you know, you're not alone. There are others who have gone through that. And folks, we need to lift her up in prayer and pray a blessing over her and pray protection over her. I will say this, it's both. So it is to call attention because when you see one, you're mesmerized by it. When you see something floating in the sky, shining in the sky like this, flitting from one place to another, making right angle turns and things like that, it mesmerizes you. It captivates you. And that's frankly what I warn against. Rebuke first, ask questions later. But there is something to be said about interdimensionality with these craft. I believe they come in and out of this dimension, and the craft enables them to do so. Hope that helped you. This is from Travis. For the past couple of years, I've been watching this odd-shaped light. It's not a plane, it's not a star. However, I don't know much more than that. I live in Queen Creek, Arizona. I've seen it turn different colors, shoot across the sky so fast and be gone, my eyes could not even keep up. Mostly it just sits in the sky, flaring off colors from time to time. I've uploaded some photos and I have quite a bit more. Just wanted your expertise on what it might be. Thanks for writing in, Travis. In my opinion, what you're looking at is some sort of craft. Whether it's military or not, I don't know. I would lean first towards something else. I think it's the real thing. I think you're looking at some sort of UFO activity. This is from Russell. Hey, LA, my wife and I listen to you on a regular basis. Well, I appreciate that. I have a question. How do the authorities explain how these UFOs fly all the way across the galaxy only to crash on Earth? That doesn't make sense. You know, the late David Flynn and I talked about this. And like, for instance, the Roswell crash. Was that a deliberate crash? Very possible. Could be. Don't know. But there also, is it possible that sometimes radio waves, microwaves can affect the craft? That's certainly possible. And they don't fly all across the galaxy. These are interdimensional craft. These are coming from what I would call the second heaven, another dimension. And we've talked about this numerous times. I do not believe in extraterrestrial life. I just don't. I think we're it. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're being visited by extraterrestrials. I think we're being visited by interdimensionals. Hope that helps. Okay. This picture was taken in 2014 by my Kenyan wife while we were driving early from the coast back to her family. Her brother was in the back seat. I was driving the right-hand drive car. So she was seated on the left. She made me stop on the bridge to get a picture of the sunrise. Immediately after she snapped the picture, this person with an elongated skull appeared in it. The three of us looked immediately, but there was nobody, and it would have been impossible for anyone to stand between the car and the bridge. This is really mysterious. As we were on the left lane. This person had to be on the other side of the bridge, standing in the creek, meaning he was over 15 feet tall. Here's the picture, and John Adam, you can blow that up. You can see right there the elongated skull. Very strange, extremely strange. My comment is this: I don't know what you're looking at. I do find it very odd, very strange, and very disturbing. But remember, in certain areas like Kenya, like different parts of Africa, like the American Southwest, shamans conduct their rituals. And shape-shifting, they can pop in and out, they can bilocate, they can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Shamans do that. Witch doctors do that. So I don't know what you're looking at. I find it disturbing. This is from Gary, LA, the Lord bless you. I heard you speak about the seed war in the book of Genesis and wanted to know if you have ever read the book of Jasher. Yes, I have. And I know it's not considered scripture, but neither was Enoch, the book of Enoch. I found something interesting in chapter 8 and 9. I'll never attempt to stop God's plan for man. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, endlessly repeated. The enemy, the dragon, has one shot, and that's to somehow stop the Messiah from being born. This is why when you think about it, and this is the biblical account, when the wise men come in to look for the king, and Herod gets wind of this, what does he do? He has his Roman soldiers, or he has his guards go out, or the people under his command. And what do? They kill all the infants 2 years old and younger. That's unbelievable when you think about it. Absolutely unbelievable. So he's a tool of the enemy. There's no doubt about that. He's being used by the dragon, by Satan. Look, folks, here's the bottom line. When we get to passages in Scripture like that, we scratch our heads and go, Lord, why? And I get that. Lord, why? Why do you allow it? The protocols of this heavenly war are such that we get glimpses of them, but we certainly don't understand all of them. Here's something to think about. We are in a window of time where the king might be returning soon. In my opinion, he has to return. Why? Because we find ourselves on this planet, and you can't fix this anymore. With the advent of AI, you can't tell. We can't tell what's truth and what's fiction. It's almost impossible to tell. So what do we do with this? How can you be accountable for anything? Get where I'm going with this? So when he comes, all of this changes. And there's an analogy I used in the cosmic chess match. We have atrocities on this planet. We have pain and suffering on this planet. But the book of Revelation tells us that Jesus will wipe away every tear. I believe that that is literal. When he comes back, everything changes. Let me ask you something. If you have eternity, are you going to be thinking, am I going to be thinking about things that happened on earth before you were glorified, translated into a glorified body? The analogy I use is like going and getting a root canal. Root canals are, they're not a lot of fun, let's put it that way, okay? They're not. But I don't wake up in the morning thinking about that root canal I had 6 months ago or a year or 2 years ago. It's gone. I don't think about it. Now, that might be a poor analogy, but that's what eternity is like. All the pain, all the hurt is healed. That's the promise we have. You can either believe it or walk in fear. Anyway, folks, that's it for today. I'll get back and do some more questions here in just a little bit. I will be in Nashville coming up this week. We're gonna roll the little trailer that we made for that. I hope to see you there. Here's the trailer. folks, L.A. Marzulli here. I'm going to be at your church on October 18th and 19th. I speak 4 times. The first time on Friday night, twice on Saturday, and then again Sunday morning. I'll be talking about the Nephilim, what they were. Remember, in Genesis 3:15, it talks about the seed war. And the name of this conference is Seed Wars, unveiling the agenda of the Nephilim giants. Hope to see you there. General admission is $20. If you're a couple, you get in for $30. If you're a student, $10. Man, we've lost the young people, and I hope to see, the under 30 crowd turn up in droves. If you want to find out about this stuff, we've got the answers, all from a biblical prophetic narrative. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Rungs of Disclosure is shipping. I think it's the most important book I've ever penned. You're going to want to check this out, lamarzulli.com, lamarzulli.com. Hope to see you in Nashville this weekend. That's it for today. If you've got questions, please email them, questions@lamarzulli.net. Thanks so much for watching.